And you don't mostly find, you can rarely find someone like that. To be soft, but strict. To be strict doesn't need you to be harsh. Some people think that. No, you don't need to be harsh to be strict. Abu Bakr was so soft, and at the same time he was so strict. The army of Osama bin Zayd, some people said to Abu Bakr, don't let it go. He said, no, I will let it go. Wallahi, if the wives of the Prophet will be dragged from their houses, I will be ordering the army of Osama to take its way to the war. Because this is what the Prophet said before his death. أَنْفِذُوا جَيْشَ Osama. That was one of his wills. Let the army of Osama take its way. So people said, well, it's a fitna. You know, it's not appropriate for the army to go. The Prophet died. He said, no. He was so strict. Someone who used to be known very harsh, to be very, very harsh, but suddenly we missed that strictness in him. And that is Umar ibn al-Khattab. When Abu Bakr decided to fight those who declined to pay the zakah, Abu Bakr decided to fight them. Umar came to him and said, oh, Abu Bakr, how will you be fighting those people? They say, La ilaha illallah. Then Abu Bakr, he said to him, are you harsh in Jahiliyyah and weak in Islam, O Umar? Don't you remember that the Prophet said that I was ordered to fight people until they say La ilaha illallah and to give the zakah? Wallahi, the zakah is one of the conditions of La ilaha illallah. If they decline to give me a content, only a plate, which they used to be giving to the Prophet ﷺ, wallahi, I'll be fighting them for that. Only for a small container. Umar said, I realized that this is the truth that Allah struck in the heart of Abu Bakr. So I left it. So he is one of the two and the second of the two. What does this mean? We know the second of the two, yes, that he's after the Prophet ﷺ, ثاني اثنين, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran. But what about first of the two? First of the two who converted to Islam, Bilal was the second, and Abu Bakr was the first. He's the first of the two, but also he's the second of the two in the cave that the Prophet ﷺ went in on his way to Medina. There's a beautiful thing here. Abu Bakr used to be sometimes walking in front of the Prophet and sometimes he walked behind the Prophet. He said, when I remember al-rasd, that means to be spying upon from the front, that someone may be, an ambush when the ambush is from the front, so I come and walk in front of the Prophet. When I expect that the Prophet is being sought from the back, then I walk behind the Prophet ﷺ. Tell me now, when Abu Bakr say that, does it mean that he have fears about himself? No. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ثاني اثنين, the second of the two, إذ هما في الغار, when they were in the cave. إذ يقول لصاحبه لا تحزن, when he said to his companion, don't be sad. Inna Allah ma'ana, Allah is with us. One of the scholars, his name is As-Suhaili, he said, Allah said, La tahzan, he did not say, La takhaf. Allah did not say, don't be afraid. He said, don't be sad. Because his concern about the Prophet ﷺ made him busy from having fears about himself. Allahu Akbar. What a beautiful word. He had concerns about the Prophet ﷺ that made him busy from having any kind of fear for himself. If he had fears for himself, he wouldn't be walking sometimes in front of the Prophet, sometimes at the back of the Prophet, or entering the cave to find out if there's something that may hurt the Prophet ﷺ. And the house of Abu Bakr was very busy in the incident of the Prophet's migrate to Medina. Asma was called Dhat Nitaqayn. She was putting the food. One of the slaves of Abu Bakr was also bringing the milk for the Prophet ﷺ. The son of Abu Bakr was going and trying to check the news from the people of Quraysh. What did they discover was the Prophet or not, etc. The house of Abu Bakr was in a great concern. All of the members of the house were busy in supporting Islam and supporting the Prophet ﷺ, even his daughter, radiallahu anhum. And you say that he is Fir'aun, and he is Sanam, and he's evil? No. I'm sorry. You are opposing the Quran when you hear the Quran praising Abu Bakr, because there's no other one. Who was with Abu Bakr, with the Prophet in his hijrah to Medina? Who was with him? Why the Prophet selected someone whom some people call today that he's the most evil person? Why? Why Allah allowed it? Why Allah allowed someone to be like Abu Bakr to be chosen to be the companion of the Prophet in his immigration to Medina? Why? Another verse was revealed concerning Abu Bakr, وَسَيُجَنَّبُهَا الْأَتْقَى, and he will be averted from it. That means hell. Al-Atqa, the most God-fearing one. He was described by Allah that he is the most God-fearing one. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ جَاءُوا بِالْإِفْكِ عُصْبَةٌ مِّنْكُمْ لَا تَحْسَبُوهُ شَرًّا لَكُمْ بَلْ هُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. Those who brought the fraud news, those who accused Aisha falsely among you, don't think, and this is an addressing of Allah to the family of Abu Bakr, don't think it is bad for you, but it is rather good for you. And also one of the people who fell in this propaganda against Aisha, he's a good man, he's a good Muslim, but he fell in that mistake. He was repeating the rumors about Aisha. Did you hear about what happened? He was using his tongue to spread the propaganda. Then after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made things clear and revealed everything about the incident, and he proved the innocence of Aisha radiallahu anha, Abu Bakr knew that this person, Mustah, his name is Mustah. Abu Bakr used to be giving him a monthly salary support. Then when he realized, when he knew that Mustah was involved in this, he said, Wallahi, I'm not going to give him the money I used to be giving. I'm not going to give him, the money I was granting him. I'm not going to give him anymore.